price of your greed is your son and your daughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Just for another dollar in your pocket. Now I am the violence, I am the sickness. Won't accept your silence, beg me for forgiveness. We'll never get free. Welcome to the slaughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed, your son and your daughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water?
Welcome to MILF Podcast Live. This is the show where we talk about motherhood and sexuality with amazing women who have fascinating stories to share about the joys of being a MILF. Now, here's your host, the MILFiest MILF I know, Jennifer Tracy.
Welcome to the Dynasty Typewriter Theater at the Hayworth. I'm just going to set my security water down here. And Christina Grance, everybody. So Christina was my first pole dancing teacher. And I was 99.100% sure I was gay for the first 3 months that I was taking class with her. And I remember telling Sabrina over lunch one day, I was like, I don't know, I think I have these feelings watching her dance, like something's happening, you know, and then I said, I'm pretty sure if she asked me to, that I would lick her pussy. And I still would, I think, pretty sure. Sorry, Brad, her husband. Anyway, so we're here at the lovely Dynasty Typewriter. I just want to thank the theater and everyone who works here and the staff. And Jamie and Vanessa for having me. It's such an honor to be on the stage. This is an incredible venue. They have a lot of really top-rated comedians and other podcasting shows. So I hope you'll come back and check out other shows, even though this is going to be the best one you're ever going to see. And so you guys, I turned 44 last month. Thank you. I mean, I feel milfy. I feel really good, but there's something new that's happening, and it's called night sweats. Yeah, what the fuck? Fuck that shit. I don't understand. Like, I just, every month right before my period, I just wake up completely drenched in night sweats. And so I'm like looking for solutions online, you know, searching late night, what's the solution to this? And someone suggested, oh, you should just stop drinking caffeine. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not gonna stop drinking caffeine. I drink PG Tips with milk and honey, like most moms drink rosé. First thing in the morning, on the way to school, and throughout the day as needed. And I'm not gonna give that up. And so the other night it happened, this is a true story, I was having a dream where I was in an episode of Handmaid's Tale. True story. But in this dream, it was this weird foresty internment camp. It wasn't the Gilead that's on the show. It was like Katy Perry's version of Gilead. Like I had punked out hair and like this cool pink shift on. And then I noticed there was like a mirror in the dream, in the middle of the forest, of course, because that's where they have mirrors. And I looked and my mouth was all red, and I was like, oh my God, I've been like gagged and kidnapped, you know, not in the fun way. And it reminded me that I needed to go get my lip waxed and my nose hair. Do you guys get your nose hair waxed? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Oh my God, it's so fun. Okay, if you don't do this, you have, okay. They take like a lollipop stick and they dip it in the hot wax and then they put it out and then they shove it up your nostril and then they wait and they do this and they wait and then they yank it out and you've got like a mini truffula tree. So I'm in Gilead, Katy Perry's Gilead, and I'm like, okay, this sucks. And then I look and I see there's a little kitchenette, and there's an electric kettle, and there's a box of PG Tips with honey and milk. And then there's a scuttle around me, and some other handmaids are escaping, but I could just reach the electric kettle and the PG Tips. So I think I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go make my tea, and then I'm gonna bring it home with me. And so I'm starting to make it, and one of the Marthas grabs my wrist and she's like, you can't have that. That's only for the commanders and their wives. You get dirt mint leaf tea. And she puts it in my cup and pours lukewarm water over it. And I'm just about to fly into a fucking rage on this bitch. And I wake up drenched in sweat. It's just, I don't like it at all. I'm not happy with it. Is anyone following the Epstein Trials? Speaking of Gilead. Okay, so I just have to flip this for a second. If a woman had that kind of money and power, I'm sure that women are capable of evil things, right? But I just don't see it. I feel like okay, let's set aside the fact that he's sadistic and sociopathic for a second. Let's just say that a woman had that kind of money and power and a sex addiction. If it was me, I would hire a team of professionals to curate a list of highly qualified male escorts over the age of 35. That's another story. I can't. I went on the dating apps and I did like the whole, like the actual MILF thing where like these young, anyway, that's a whole other story. I learned what ass play was. I was like, what? What do you want? No. Going home. I'm going home. No. His ass, not mine. When that became clear, I was like, I'm out of here. So, anyway, I would have them flown, these male escorts over 35, to my various homes, you know, Saint-Tropez, Miami, Paris, once a month, fuck my brains out, and then go, because I have work to do. I can't keep track of all these things that Epstein has, like these torture chambers with dental things and passports, and I don't even, like, what are you doing? Like, go. So, because if a woman had that kind of money and power, she would be busy mothering her children, running her CEO of her company, treating her girlfriends to the best things life has to offer, and giving back to the world. Am I right? So, I really feel strongly that part of his, when they do have the trial, whenever that happens, part of his punishment should be they should liquidate all of his assets and distribute it evenly amongst all women in the world. Let's see what happens. So, kidding aside, I really do think, like forgiveness and humility is the key to life. And so I did want to just read this Mother Teresa quote, because I feel like even if we can forgive the most evil people, it gives us peace. She says, "People are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway." Mother Teresa. That's a good one, right? So good. So, you guys, I will be very quick to forgive the people that castrate Jeffrey Epstein and throw his balls and cock to the hounds from Game of Thrones. I will forgive them, you guys. Are you ready to meet our guests? Okay, so done with that. So straight from the sound booth is Sabrina Weisz. Sabrina is a voiceover artist most known for voicing two characters on the animated series Miraculous Ladybug. She began acting at the age of 10. Sabrina is an improviser, playwright, director, and most importantly, mom of 2 teenagers. Give it up for Sabrina Weisz! Okay, Wendy Miller is an Emmy-winning producer and comedy writer. For 7.5 years, she was the head of programming for Playboy TV, where her entire understanding of sex, pleasure, shame, and sexuality completely evolved. Wendy's now host of the wildly hilarious podcast, Sex Ed the Musical, that inspires women to step away from all the judgment and shame we've been socialized to carry about sex. It's time to advocate for our own pleasure, and Wendy Miller is leading the charge, one vagina at a time. Wendy Miller! You never know.
Maybe later.
Our third guest is someone that you saw earlier dancing on that pole. I get like schwitzy when I'm around her. I can't help it. Christina Grance is the founder of Serpent Lane, affordable, size-inclusive lingerie that's provocative and fun. No shit. She is the mom of one 2-year-old boy and the dancer you just saw moments ago, captivating your souls. Christina is a leader in the movement community, empowering women to reclaim their erotic bodies. She is also a writer, and her website and travel blog is found at liveawilderlife.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Christina Grance. God, you guys, this is actually happening. I kind of can't believe it. I'm gonna put this here.
You know what's interesting? This is the second event this week I've been at that mentioned ass play and Mother Teresa. What? Yeah. I don't know, it's something out there. Check Instagram or something. It's a thing.
Is it a thing?
It's a thing.
Is it a hashtag?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't want Mother Teresa to be hashtag with ass play.
Right.
I don't know how she feels about that.
Maybe she's liberated.
Therese ass play. I think
Therese ass play. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Can we just talk about for a second how hot Christina's dance was?
Oh my God. So hot. I got to watch it from the booth, and I got to just feel the whole vibe of the audience. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It's powerful, right? When a woman's in her sexuality. So how is it for you post-child dancing like that? Because I know you've been dancing like that for a while. Is it any different? What's changed for you?
I'm a lot more tired.
I'm guessing a little pee comes out when you invert. Personal experience aside.
Yeah, that may have happened. Yes, I mean, no, really. First and foremost, wow, the physical exhaustion is a little different, but it's that aside, just the fact that I'm more tired is that I'm also deeper. I feel like something about having a child and it just kind of rips apart at having time to think.
Yeah.
That it lets me just go deeper faster because there's just no time.
Yeah.
To just mess with that.
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's freedom in that.
Yeah.
I think too. And as we get older, that's like, I love being now in my mid 40s. This is just gonna fall open like this, so I'm not gonna mess with it.
Oh, what an accident. Oops. Totally didn't plan that.
What about you guys, Sabrina and Wendy? Do you feel that like a deepening or like a less? I call it zero fucks. Like I just feel like I give way less fucks about things that I didn't. Oh.
Yeah, well, I found that once I became a mother, I actually became more productive because I just realized how little time I had to do shit. So I had to just like cram it all in when I could. So I actually got a lot more done, even though I was exhausted. And it does, it like pinpoints your focus to like, what do you really want to do? Because you got to make the most of the time that you have where you're not tending to the little ones crawling around.
And what about, how does sex fit into that?
Oh, here we go. Well, I would say, launching into the sex talk. Well, I will say, when they were super tiny, like, we didn't have much sex at all.
No.
Am I alone? Okay. Well, for two reasons. I'm exhausted, right? Just completely exhausted, and also just feeling like I don't want like more skin on my skin, because like with breastfeeding and it's like you're constantly holding the baby, I just want to like not have somebody on me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it gets better though. My kids are teenagers, so I can say that like now that they are independent little human being, well not little, they're giant actually. Yeah. They're more independent, so I'm finding I'm getting so much of my own self back.
Yeah.
And so that also includes like sort of approaching sex with my husband in a kind of a fresh way. It's kind of like I wouldn't say like we're newlyweds, but maybe like we've been dating for a couple of years. Ooh, I don't know. That's good. That doesn't sound any better. I don't know.
So hot. That's so hot. I have a 13-and-a-half-year-old daughter, so she's like a horny psychopath now. And she actually came into my bedroom, this is a true story, she came in our bedroom last night, and it's always an epiphany when you're 13, everything's like, what? And so she came in the bedroom last night, and we were hanging out, and she said, Mom, in the time that I've been born, have you and Dad had sex in this house?
Shit.
And I said, hang on. Are you asking me if your father and I have had sex in the last 13 and a half years? And she goes, yes. And I said, yes. Oh my God!
Isn't that weird? They
Crazy.
wouldn't think that?
Crazy. She
So
was
crazy.
like obsessed because she's at the point where she asks me questions and I happily answer them because I don't want to make sex weird. So you just answer the question and move on. And so she will ask me some really ridiculous stuff. And I just answer it and she just shuts up and moves on. And it's kind of funny because
I'm amazed that she feels comfortable to ask.
well, look at me. I mean, why wouldn't she be?
Right. True. That's true.
It's not, there's no weirdness. It's just like she'll ask me a question and we use anatomically correct terms and we talk about stuff and they just want to kind of sum up the answer. Don't tell them everything, but just answer it and move on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Don't make it weird.
Don't make it weird.
No shame.
My kids don't want to see me kiss my husband. If we're affectional, if we do more than just a peck, my husband and I, they like freak out. And they're like, stop it. Isn't that weird? I think that's weird. I don't know what that's about.
I don't remember because my parents were never demonstrative towards one another Or me, really. Which explains the pole dancing.
So much of this makes sense.
Yeah, right?
Me too, Jen. That's why we both love pole dancing.
That's it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would have loved if my parents were kissing.
Yeah, my parents never were. They were just, yeah.
You know,
So how is, by the way, just by applause, like who in the audience is currently sexually active?
Yes! You mean like right this second? Because now this got weird.
Right now.
This got
It's
weird.
pretty dark back there. It could be.
I would love that. I would love that if that was happening.
Got a bullet vibe in my underwear right now. I'm just going crazy. Oh, give me someone here. I'll throw you the controller. There, 1-5. Go crazy. Oh, thanks. I do have one of those, by the way. I got, the remote control vibrator where it's like someone
Yes.
comes across and controls
Yes.
it. But I found out the hard way that they're all on the same frequency. So if you're at a party with another freak, and let's say your husband wants to give you a little zap, someone might drop a tray in the back of the room. That's because she's on the same frequency.
Oh my God, that's really
We had a little situation at the Cat and the Fiddle. I'm still sort of sad. It was not my fault. I didn't design it.
That sounds like a great idea for a theme party. Right?
Thinking that too.
Let's do it.
Actually, yeah.
Like you don't know, you go in, you have your thing in your, what is it, in your underwear?
Well, you
does
put it
clip
anywhere
on?
you want. I mean, it's like a little bullet thing. You can put it
Oh,
anywhere you
right.
want.
But,
And then you
Vagina,
give someone
whatever.
else the controller, and the crazy thing is they can do it like sporadic, or they can hold that shit down. It's just like, crazy.
what's the name of this apparatus?
Oh, I can check my show notes. It'll be all in there. Little inside humor.
I'm
No.
serious, I think we should do a theme party.
Screaming O makes one, and the controller's a little ring. It's like Dr. Evil ring, and it's got like a hidden button on it. You push it, and then your partner's underpants start to vibrate. By the way, it's great at like Korean restaurants, places that are loud, but you don't want to do this at Musso and Frank or something because it's loud. And people at the other table will hear the shit. They're like, so anyway, darling, what the hell is happening? So you want to go to like, Korean barbecue or Chipotle. Works really well, Chipotle.
Now, Wendy, have you always been into sex toys, or did that develop over time, or with the introduction of Playboy?
No, I mean, I grew up in a house with like zero weirdness about sex, so that was fine. But no, I mean, I totally came into my own when I started working at Playboy. I mean, I had stuff, but working at Playboy was like working at ground zero of smut, and it was just a blast because I just started to create TV shows just so they deliver sex toys to my office. Like, I kind of want some Hitachi magic wands. Let's do a Hitachi show, and then this shit would just show up. So it really wasn't my deal until I got to Playboy. I was always fine with it, but
And did your husband just sort of say, great? Like,
No.
I mean, did he go, oh no?
My husband is the most, he's like a Vulcan. He's dragged kicking and screaming into my smutty life. He's like prim and proper and never swears. When he gets really mad, he says, God bless America. Like, he doesn't swear. So it's like Donny Osmond being married to a whore.
Now, that's the opposite of Ezra.
Yes, it is the opposite of Ezra. My husband is. This is so funny because my biggest fear, I don't know why, is that my kids will like listen to this one day because they don't even like us to kiss. Can you imagine? They'd be like, oh my God.
Well, wait
They
a
won't
minute.
listen.
Ezra taught my son, he's
Oh,
Uncle Ezra to my
true.
son Blooms. He taught him what a taint is. In the
Somebody
car
had
ride-
to teach him.
In
Somebody
the
had
car ride to the Dodger, and then he taught him the Nantucket poem, Limerick. Only one person knows the Nantucket Limerick? Oh, sort of? Oh,
I only know is the
once
punchline.
was a man from
From
Nantucket whose dick was so long he could suck it. He said with a grin as he wiped off his chin, if my ear was a cunt, I could fuck it.
He did not teach him that version. He said cunt. He said cunt. That's,
It's
well,
okay.
I
My
apologize.
blessing. I was in the car. It's fine.
But he was so tiny. Your son
He was
so
like 8. He was like 8.
Did Dr. Seuss write that? Where that came from?
Oh my God. Well, my husband wanted to be a sex therapist when he was a kid. Like that's what if he didn't go into show business, he would have been a sex therapist. Because he was like, he listened to Dr. Ruth when he was little in New Jersey, and it's true. It was just like fascinated.
I just see this little Jewish boy listening on his second floor of his New Jersey house.
Yes.
Listening to Dr. Ruth on the radio.
Oh yes, on his radio. That's right.
That is adorable.
And his mom would come in, and he said, "Listen to Dr. Ruth," and so she'd sit, and they'd both listen to it together. It was adorable.
Well, now I want to ask Christina, because you're in the thick of it. You have a 2-year-old.
Yes.
Is there sex happening?
Yes. I mean, you know, in the first year, there wasn't a lot, you know.
What, really?
Well, I
No one
mean,
here is surprised.
no, well, I see people who have Irish twins, and I'm always amazed by them. You
Yeah.
know, at the Irish twin thing, like
Yeah.
in the same year, they already have another baby, and I think I always think about it because then I think in my mind about them having sex. Because I'm like, wow, you guys had sex. And then I think about the timing. I break it down. I'm like, they had to have had it 2 months afterwards. And I'm like, but they exist. These people exist.
I know. I remember
They
going
just
to.
heal quickly. I don't know. I mean, it's just pretty tore up down there for a lot of
Oh my
long
God.
time.
I had 3rd-degree tearing, and I had to sit on a donut, like a donut cushion for
This
like.
is hot.
We should get back to the
Let's hear
vibrators.
more about your episiotomy. That's good. So then I had a bidet. Oh,
So Jennifer, what's your favorite sex toy?
yeah, Jennifer.
Well, actually, some of my girlfriends just turned me on to this, what we call the orgasm machine. And it is a Lilo, one of my favorite brands. And it's just this like thing that kind of, it's like, I sound like Silence of the Lambs. Clarice, give me your clitoris.
What in the actual fuck are you describing? Because I know about sex toys and I don't know about a fucking Silence of the Lambs situation. Is this like a clitoral?
No, I'm making it sick.
Is it a
It's not.
clitoral suction device? Like
It's a
the
clitoral suction
womanizer?
device. It fits in the palm of your hand, and it just has this little. It looks like a little, like it's out of a Dr. Seuss book, like a little, like some little Seuss is gonna come peeking out of it in a moment. But it just like sucks and it kind of moves, and you just look at it and you go, what? And then you just put it on your clitoris, and then you're like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah, that's the whole thing now. Is clitoral suction devices are like.
But it's too much. I liked it, but it was like, I mean,
You can adjust the pressure on it. You have to put it at 10.
even at a low pressure adjust. I mean, and the Lilos have like a lot of different modulations, but it just was still, it was like, oh man, I can only use that like every other month. It's too much. It's too much.
So what do you use every other day? Oh, analog. Nice.
Old school.
That's about it.
What did
Nice.
you say? What's
All you gotta worry about is carpal tunnel syndrome. That's all. Nice. You can go camping. You have to worry about
It's true.
batteries. That's cool.
Yeah. What about you guys? How do you masturbate?
Well, I just want to say that today I had to get rid of like 6 vibrators.
Get rid of? Why?
Yes, because people keep on giving them to me. I get them gifted all the time, and I mean, thank you, everyone. And I'm analog as well, old school, and I've just never been a fan, and so I keep on getting them. And there's a house inspection on my house today because we're selling my house, and I had been trying to get rid of them. And I had been like texting friends and being like, do you want all my vibrators? They've never been used, I'll mail them to you because I have a friend who's really into them, but I couldn't get rid of them. So I was like, God, they're gonna rifle through my closet because these inspections, they go really deep into your home, you know? And so I was like, I'm sorry, and I like threw them all away.
You know, I think you could actually donate them to the library. Oh, no, that's books. I'm sorry, that's books. Never mind. All right.
Sabrina, Oh, you know what's funny is I had a bunch of old ones, because I'm not like a big toy person either, but I had some up in a tall in a shelf in a cupboard that was really tall, because I didn't want when the kids were toddling around, I didn't want them to like find them. And then we were cleaning out the cupboards recently too, and I just like unearthed all of these old they were so like, they don't look sleek like the ones do now. They've got like the battery pack that's like separate from it, like the door, and it's like all these pieces, you know. So I just put them all in a bag and I put them in the dumpster, and I thought this will be interesting. If sometime they dump the trash out, like that's, you know,
Yeah.
she ended up in a landfill somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
You didn't feel bad. I felt really bad.
You felt bad? Well, mine were just so, they're done. They've seen their day.
Wendy?
So you know how when you go to like the Langham and you get like the arugula menu? You know, it's like, today's arugula is a blue arugula. So I think I have different vibrators or different sex products for different days, different moods, different times in my cycle. You know, you want to get things done fast. Hitachi Magic Wand is the closer, right? That's good. Womanizer if I'm high. Particularly spectacular. Just got a vibrating cock ring for the Vulcan in me, and this thing this thing is a game changer, because basically your partner turns into like a sex robot, which is, who doesn't want that, right? And so that thing is amazing, and that way, you know, you can have orgasms if you're having penetrative sex. You get direct, you know, contact with your clitoris. You can have all kinds of great orgasms that way. You know, I got like some wee vibes. I got a lot of shit, you guys, but I'm keeping mine. Okay?
So Wendy is really at the forefront of this. Like, her podcast is fabulous. You guys should listen to it. It's called Sex Ed the Musical, where you get a lot more of this. Yep. There it is.
Thank you.
And really, and we've talked about this before, like one of your main passions is actually educating the public about sex, because it's a problem.
Yeah, but you know what? There are the Dr. Ruths of the world and other people, Sex with Emily. I mean, like, they're really in that lane. And I think what I'm mostly interested in is, first of all, just letting women know that we've all been socialized to have all this shame around sex. And I've been doing all these interviews recently that's like, sex ed, how your parents taught you, all these things basically become part of your sexual DNA. And it's just not your fault that you might have some issues about sex. So what I'm doing on my show is just trying to normalize all this bullshit that we have to deal with. So there are people out there who can talk about your Bartholin gland all night. I'm more interested in talking to women about what makes you feel good, why that's totally okay, and that you may be carrying around some sort of trauma or judgment or shame, and that's okay too, because you're not alone, and just get rid of it, stop leaving pleasure on the table, and start having fun. So I'm kind of like maybe more of a tour guide. I certainly love to educate women, but I think there are people who are really, really good at that, and I think I'm kind of more of just like a regular person who figured a lot of stuff out, and I just want to drag all my sisters along with me.
Yes! I like that. We need more of that. Yeah.
He's so in. Amen.
And that was my experience too, like starting pole dancing when I did 6 years ago. It was like I discovered this gem inside of me, and I'm sure many of you in the audience relate, where it was like, oh my God, I have all this unfound sexuality and unfound sex drive and desire and capacity for pleasure that I literally thought sex was just like, like I thought that was my role in sex.
Yeah, totally. We become presentational. And
yes,
we were talking about this. How long it takes women after they first become sexually active to start realizing that there's pleasure in it for them, and to start advocating for themselves, it could be up to 17 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And think about when you lost your virginity and when you started to become a boss bitch in bed, if you have. And that's going to be probably at least 10 years. And I talked about, I had 40 women showing up at my house for the blowjob class with Nina Hartley, who lives across the street. For the cunnilingus class, I had 6 people show up. So there's a real gap in there with women and being able to advocate for our own pleasure. That's because we've been socialized like that.
Yeah.
So we just need to know about it and then change it.
Yeah.
But then how do you, so when you have, so I have a daughter, teenage daughter, as you do. So how early should you start I mean, my kids know what sex is. We talk about sex, but like, I mean, I want her to have a healthy attitude towards sex, but
Yeah.
but thinking of her having sex with someone right now, like, flips me out. I know it shouldn't,
Right.
I
Well,
guess.
the first thing you should be talking about is consent.
Sure, yeah, yes, we have a lot
And
of
also you
conversations
should
about
let your daughter know, or your son know, or whomever, that their genitals are for their pleasure, not someone
that. Yeah, but
else's
that's a
pleasure.
weird thing to just bring up to your teenager.
Not if you say it the way it's like, and I got the rust proofing on my Chevy. I mean, if you literally say it, like it's just a fact with no judgment or shame attached to it. That's how we normalize all of this. Because this goes back to people who say, well, I don't want to educate my kids about sex because then they're going to be sexually active. They're going to be sexually active. The
For
kids
sure.
who are educated are the ones that make the better decisions. So if you're afraid, you say to your daughter, your genitals are for your pleasure, she's going to be like, yeah, who's next?
Yeah, but you know, I also, what you're saying that it feels uncomfortable. I mean, I don't have a teenage daughter, so I'm giving advice based on, you know, my own experience of being a teenager. I think even being able to say, I know this is uncomfortable, we're going to be uncomfortable together as we have this talk. Do you know, it just broaching it of like, this is just as uncomfortable for me, and we're going to go through the uncomfortable hump together.
Totally
You know,
one way to do
because-
it, yeah. Whatever works for you, there's no right or wrong way. I mean, there's probably a lot of wrong ways, but
That's true. I mean, I think as long as we talk about it. I mean, she's not dating anyone or anything, so it's not, that's why I think it hasn't been a conversation. I know that it's going to be, but I'm just like, well, she's not dating anyone, so do I need to really get into the, like, specifics?
I'm doing a whole series of
Yeah, her
episodes
mind,
now.
she may not be dating, but her mind. I mean, I remember what my mind was like.
Yeah.
Right, 'cause hormones are going crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing a whole series of episodes, I was just trying to say, where I'm asking all these women of different backgrounds and ages and all over the country the same questions about, you know, what sex education they had, when they lost their virginity. It's amazing the answers I'm getting. And I'm finding, and I knew this from working at Playboy, that the people who have been raised with the most prohibitive, you know, shameful, fundamental childhood, you know, learning about sex and shame and don't do that and God's gonna smite you and all this other shit, those are the people who have trouble. And those are the people who generally act out in an opposite direction. It's basically contrary to exactly what you want as a parent. But if you're more like, yep, this is going on, your hormones are making you a psychopath, I know it, but here's what you need to know about. And just make it just like a fact. The conversation has no shame, it's not charged. There's nothing creepy about it, so you can just have it.
Right. Yeah,
That makes so much sense.
totally does.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, really good advice. That's good advice.
Can you show some more leg, please? Thank you.
No, do you guys like my dress?
Yes.
I got it specially for you. I'm just, as you guys were talking, I was realizing that Nick, who is at the front of the, he's probably in here now, is my son's babysitter, and he's listening to all this. And I'm like, well, okay.
I'm having a great time.
Love you, Nick.
Love you too.
Love you.
Love you.
At least you're not dating him.
No. No.
Someone said yeah. Remember, she likes him over 35, right? I don't know how old Nick is. I'm just
Nick is
assuming.
37.
36.
Oh.
36. You guys are making me
I love your Epstein fantasy, by the way. I think that's awesome.
Right?
Every month, like, different 37-year-old guys show up and bang you and leave. Like, mine is like every month, a 45-year-old guy fixes the dishwasher and leaves. I've been married for 30 years. Shit changed. That's my sexual fantasy. And maybe kills a spider, you know.
Oh my God, you guys, I'm gonna tell you something really personal right now.
Yeah, girl.
I'm very excited.
So my
Let's
kids
get
are
dirty.
gone for a month because they're both in camp. So I'm like, my husband and I are sort of trying out what it's going to be like in 3 years when we're empty nesters. So we have the whole house to ourselves for a month. So what do we do? Like the first day that we were alone, we cleaned the shit out of the house, but we were so hot and sweaty, so my husband takes off all his clothes and he's vacuuming naked. And I'm telling you, that shit was hot. That was like the best sex we had in years after that vacuum. I'm telling you, there's a turn on to see like your man cleaning, and if he's naked, all the better.
For me, the best foreplay is house cleaning and childcare.
Yep.
Can you imagine if they actually knew that? They're like trying to
They
show up
know.
with flowers and, you know,
They
and be
know.
like, fucking fix the faucet, dude, I'll blow you. That easy. Fix the faucet, I'll blow you. That
It's true. It's really true. It's very simple. Are there any men in the audience? Yes! Yes! All right, there's more than a handful.
Love that.
All right.
I can't see anybody. But
easy. Just what I like in a man, more than a handful.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm still blushing. I don't know why.
Oh, your light's up.
Oh, my light's up.
I don't know how long it's been up.
Okay, thank you. My light. I see my light. So now we've come to the time when I ask the questions, but I'm going to ask an audience member to come up on stage. So is anybody dying to come up on stage with us? Just come on up here.
I can't see you, so
I can't see
you
anything.
can't pick anyone.
I see nothing.
Come on down, you're the next
everybody.
contestant.
You guys look great. What a gorgeous audience. Look at them.
Oh yeah, got somebody great.
I don't have the pole dance, huh?
You might.
Okay.
Hi. What's your name?
Mindy.
Mindy. Hi. Thanks for coming to the show. Have you listened to the podcast?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Okay. So have you heard this part where you answer questions?
No, I haven't listened to
Okay. Good.
that. Oh, shit.
What do you think about Mindy? Mindy, right? You just said it to me and I can't fucking remember. What the hell? Menopause. What do you think about Mindy when you hear the word MILF?
Oh. Yeah. Me.
What is? I'm very tall, and I have these are very tall as well. Thank you. So are you. What is something you've changed your mind about recently?
Something I've changed my mind about recently. Wow, that's it doesn't have to be sexual.
Take your time. She said, "Does it have to be sexual?" No, it does not. But it can be.
I have changed my mind about letting my partner, my husband, get away with saying things without me immediately telling him why that upsets me.
Can you give us an example?
Well, I mean, the example, I'm not sure I can give it a specific example, but he will say something and it'll immediately, I will say, no, you can't say that. That's not going to work with me anymore. And I'll be fair, I'll say, you have to say something like this or not at all, but you can't do that. So I want to be helpful. I don't want to just say no.
Got it. Yeah, that's great. You're evolving.
Yeah, I am evolving.
I love
used
it.
to just be quiet about it.
Yeah, I love it. Finding your voice.
Yeah.
How do you define success?
If you go to sleep happy without having worried about anything else, you're not thinking about the rest of the day, you're just happy to be in bed and happy going to sleep, then you're successful.
Mindy, I love you. Can I give you a hug? I have a little present for you. Just a little present. Like, and this one you get to take home. Here, go calm your brains out.
What?
This was donated by the Pleasure Chest.
What is it?
It's a vibrator.
It's a rabbit.
Okay.
And that's
She knows from here that it's a rabbit to the box is wrapped. She can tell.
It's the
You're good.
55J3000. It's got
I need one more volunteer. Thank you, Mindy. Give it up for Mindy. I need one more volunteer to come up.
Oh my God.
All right. Sherry Farah, everybody. Give it up for Sherry. Oh my God, you're so hot.
Is there just like a goddess
Hi,
factory down there?
gorgeous. Wait, what?
Goddess factory she just emerged from? Jesus.
You can't see anything up here.
You can't see shit. Nothing too crazy. No, don't worry. This is just a lightning round of questions.
Okay.
Ocean or desert?
Ocean. All day.
Favorite junk food?
Popcorn.
She's an incredible chef, so.
My popcorn.
Your popcorn. Movies or Broadway show?
Movie.
Daytime sex or nighttime sex?
All of the sex.
Texting or talking?
Talking.
Cat person or dog person?
Oh, both.
Have you ever worn a unitard?
Wait, describe a unitard.
Unitard is like neck to ankle, you know.
Like a bodysuit. I have like a onesie that I camp in that's purple. It's like really warm and it's no.
Never worn a unitard. Shower or bathtub?
I'm a shower girl.
Really? I would have pegged you as a bath girl.
I mean, maybe when I have like a luxurious off-foot bathtub, I'll be more bathtub.
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
I'm like a quick,
Yeah, get it done.
multiple, like 2 showers, 3 showers a day.
Yes,
sometimes.
yes.
Yeah.
Get it
So
clean,
it's-
get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Ice cream or chocolate?
Oh, chocolate.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at ping pong?
I thought you were gonna ask something else.
What did you think I was gonna ask?
How good I was at something else. Ping pong? Fuck. 1.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
People that don't have integrity.
You guys feel that? If you could push a button and have perfect skin for the rest of your life, but it would also give you incurable halitosis for the rest of your life, would you push it?
No.
If you could push a button and it would make everyone in the world 7% happier, 7%, but it would also place a worldwide ban on all hairstyling products, would you push it?
Everybody in the world would be 7% happier?
but no hair products.
At all?
You're looking at my boob.
I was looking at your necklace.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I always look at your boobs. They're great. Oh, fuck. Jesus. I'm sad to say it, but hair.
Would you rather have 6 fingers on both hands or a belly button that looks like foreskin? Really think about it. 6 fingers on both hands. Superpower choice: invisibility, ability to fly, or super strength.
Fly.
Where would you fly?
Everywhere.
Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. What was the name of your first pet?
Bean.
What was the name of the street you grew up on?
DeSoto Road.
So your porn name is Bean DeSoto. Actually really good. Like, was she a crime scene person, or I don't know, what kind of character can we make up for Bean DeSoto? Bean DeSoto. She's a chef, I think.
Oh my gosh, she is.
She's a vegan chef.
She's a dirty vegan chef.
She's a dirty vegan chef.
dirty.
Sherry Farrah, stay right there. Go calm your brains out. I love you. You can sit down. And I wanted to have this like Oprah moment that didn't really work out.
You
And you get a vibrator.
You get a coffee.
And you get a vibrator. And you get a vibrator. And you get a vibrator. These are kind of heavy. I don't want to.
Are they hurting anyone? Are they going to get a vibrator on the head? That's a fun story if you get like a head injury. How did that happen? Well,
Tonight on KCAL Now,
Ready?
7
You guys
people
ready?
complain
Ready,
of
ready,
being
ready?
impaled by cock rings.
I know.
One little bullet.
We should have a little light on it.
Woo!
Oh, now the light's on. There you go.
Now, there was a raffle thing. Nick, did you put this up here? Where's the raffle thing? Where's
Getting it right now.
Oh, there's the raffle. Okay. So those of you that entered the raffle, are there only like 3 tickets in here? There's 5. Great.
Wow.
So everybody wins. Okay. So everyone that has a raffle ticket,
You win.
you win.
You don't need to read your number. Just try
Nick will give you your raffle raffle prize at the end. Some of it is donated from Pleasure.
Still read the numbers and make people like to raise their hand.
Okay.
1, 3,
You have to say bingo. 218006.
Bingo!
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna hand it.
Oh, there's Nick. My son's babysitter that I'm not dating.
It's true. It's true.
218002.
Could you pass that down? Thank you. Thank you.
Almost. 218004. They're all going to be in sequential order. Dan is my Pilates teacher and also one of my best friends. Give it up for Dano Grigori. He's the reason that I'm doing that crazy roller thing that you're seeing me do on Instagram, where I'm like sitting on this thing. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, you'll go look at me doing it. But in these bags is a gift certificate to a free class at Swaya's studio called Body Shape, and it really does lift and firm. It really does. No, it's really magical. So definitely come enjoy that.
I go to a studio called Body Shame. It's slightly different. It's just all mirrors and my mom.
I love you so much. Oh my God.
It's a pretty good business model.
Okay, 218005.
Almost.
I think I already read one of these. Wait, how many are left, Nick?
1.
218003?
He's got it.
Oh, you got it. 218. So I'm just reading them over again. 2180006.
I think that's it.
Oh, you got 2. That's everybody?
Yep. That's
Yay! So now I'm gonna clean this up for a second, and I'm gonna ask the audience, would you guys like to see some more pole dancing? Yes! All right. That is excellent news, because I brought some friends. And here they come.
MILF podcast, everybody! Thank you so much for joining us here at Dynasty Typewriter. Check us out at dynastytypewriter.com for a full schedule of events. Tell your friends to get home safely. Thank you so much.